Monday night, the Sox opened a 3-game series with the Mariners in fine style.
Well hit toward left center field. Griffey going back, won't be able to get it. Up against the wall, takes a high hop. 2 runs will score. Evans has a double. The Red Sox lead it 4-2. So they are belting him. And Murphy will double him up with an amazing play at the box. That ball was headed for center field. Murphy got the glove out. There it was, and now there are 2 outs. Mercy me.
The win was just what the Sox needed to put a new outlook onto this 13-day, 4-city dreaded road trip. After dropping 2 of 3 to the A's over the weekend, the Mariners were welcome prey, or so they thought. Last night, the Sox suited up for game number 2. After sneaking a run in the second on a fielder's choice, the Sox would not come up with another base runner again until the 6th. Mariner lefty Matt Young held the Sox to a mere 3 hits in 7 innings. Dana Kicker also pitched 5 scoreless innings, giving way to former Mariner Jerry Reed. The big bat of Mike Brumley tied the game in the 7th inning, forcing a 9th inning showdown. Wes Gardner put Brumley on with 1 out, bringing Harold Reynolds to the plate.
It is fair down the line in right, bouncing off the wall, being chased by Hornowski. The throw to the plate. Here comes the runner, and the Mariners win it. They're going to argue over that call now in the first.
Fair or foul, the fact remains the lack of Sox offense played a key role in this loss. To make matters worse, some important members of the team are on the bench. Marty Barrett is taking a forced break from the lineup per his manager. Wade Boggs is on the bench with strained ligaments in his wrist suffered in Monday's game. And then last night, Tony Pena bruised his arm on a collision at the plate. Personnel the Sox cannot afford to be without. Tonight, who else to turn to but the Rocket? Roger Clemens goes after career win number 100 tonight, added incentive to already a must-win game. Up next, the Red Sox and Mariners live on NESN. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Kingdome in Seattle, Washington, in the rubber game of this 3-game series as the Red Sox take on the Seattle Mariners. Hi, everyone. I'm Bob Kurtz, and welcome to NESN's coverage of Red Sox baseball tonight. The Sox will send Roger Clemens to the mound as the Rocket tries for the 3rd time to nail down career win number 100. Clemens 4-2 so far on the year. Gary Eve, who's won none and lost 2, will pitch for Seattle. It is time now to play ball, and for the play-by-play of tonight's ball game, Ned Martin and Jerry Remy.
Thanks, Bob, and good evening, everybody, from the Kingdome in Seattle, where Roger Clemens goes against the Mariners and trying to make it 2 out of 3. And if the Red Sox can do that, crippled as they are with Boggs out of the lineup tonight, it'll be 3-3 going into Anaheim and then Kansas City, and that's not too shabby to start against these 2 ball clubs.
I think halfway through this trip, Ned, they would take that 3-3, 500. You look at this game tonight, Clemens has been outstanding against this Mariner team. He's beat them 5 straight times. All complete games, 3 of those have been shutouts. And here at the Kingdome, he's got 19 scoreless innings against him. He's just been outstanding against this ball club. And he's going against an unknown. There's no Langston tonight and no Stewart. It's going to be Gary Eve. On the medical front, Boggs will not play. He took batting practice, still very sore. Jeff Ridden said he's available for the game tonight. And Tony Pena, who got banged up at home plate last night, is going to start the game. He's going to see how it feels. He may have some problems throwing, but if Clemens can keep him off base, that won't be a problem.
Comes as no surprise that Tony Pena wants to get back in there. We'll see how it goes right after this.
NESN's exclusive coverage of Red Sox baseball is brought to you in part by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. By Nissan, building cars for people who want more than just a means of getting from here to there. Nissan, built for the human race. By Texaco, star of the American road. By your Chevy dealers of New England. Start where more people end up. Buy a Chevy today. By Sullivan Tire Family Car Care Centers, because family spirit is what Sullivan is all about. And by TWA, find out how good we really are.
The Red Sox will have Ellis Burks again leading off tonight in center field. Jody Reed at second base. Mike Greenwell in left. Tom Brunansky in right field. Dwight Evans, the designated hitter. Tony Pena catching. Carlos Quintana at first. Luis Rivera at shortstop. Randy Kutcher at third. The umpiring crew will be Tim Welke behind the plate. Made the call on the double that won the game for the Mariners last night. Crew chief Jim Evans is at first base. Dale Ford at second. And Drew Coble calling the plays at third.
The defense tonight for the Seattle Mariners, they currently rank 13th in the American League. They've made 28 errors in 28 games. Edgar Martinez back at third base. Mike Brumley, the shortstop. Harold Reynolds at second base. Alvin Davis, the first baseman. Left to right, Jeffrey Leonard, Ken Griffey Jr., Greg Briley. Behind the plate, Dave Valley. And on the mound, Gary Eve, making his 7th appearance of the season and his 4th start. Has a record of 0-2 with a 5.60 ERA. 19 hits in 17 2/3 innings. Here's the trouble area: 14 base on balls and 16 strikeouts. One of those guys would be a fastball, slider, changeup, has to keep the ball down to be effective. And as we mentioned last night, Matt Young had been having some control problems, but he certainly didn't show it last night, and Eve is kind of in the same situation.
Well, he was immense last night. Eve is one of those fine young arms that belong to the Atlanta Braves organization, but they felt that they could make a trade, and they did, as they secured Jim Presley, the third baseman from this ball club, to play. And now he is playing first base at Atlanta with Nick Osaski being out on the disabled list. But Eve came over in that trade. He won a couple of games for the Braves last year. He can throw hard. He's just a little bit all over the place and kind of an unknown quantity.
Very successful minor league career, and a couple of games in the big leagues last year for Atlanta toward the end of the season, and a pretty good opportunity to him to work into a staff here that's a very young pitching staff, and they're committed to the youth. They've got a lot of young pitchers, and as we mentioned a number of times in this series and last week in Boston, it looks like a pitching staff that could be together for a long time here at Seattle.
Eve got into 20 2/3 innings last year with the Atlanta Braves, winning 2, losing nothing. And in those 20 innings, he struck out 9 and walked 12. So he goes against the Red Sox for the first time ever and faces Ellis Burks. Gets his strike in. We're underway at the Kingdome. Burks at 257. No homers, 13 batted in. Breaking pitch.
After his at-bat, Ellis Burks will become one of the most popular players in the Red Sox dugout. They will all be asking him, what does his fastball do? How hard does he throw? What's his slider like?
To short, Brumley makes an error, and that's news. First error he's made this season, coming on for Omar Vizquel. He played the tar out of that position last night, and he hurried himself a little bit because Burks is going down the line. He's bobbled the ball for an error.
That's a pretty good string for Mike Brumley at shortstop. As you mentioned, that errorless until this play right here. The ball's hit very hard, goes to the backhand right off the heel of the glove, and once any kind of bobble is made at shortstop with Burks going down the line, just forget about it.
Burks on base. He's been on base quite a bit in this series. Had 4 hits in the 2 games previous. He reaches on the error and creates something maybe for Jody Reed. Looks at a strike.
I'd like to get a very big lead right now and try to get Eve to throw to first base. Check out his move. That's the first time the Red Sox have seen Gary Eve, and kind of get that one-way lead. Get off the bag, going back to first base, make him throw over.
He does there.
That's probably not his best move, but you want to try him one more time.
It was a long move, I'll say that. He takes a little time on it to unwind. He's 6'4". That's pretty good size. And he looks Ellis back. Jackknife. 1 ball and 1 strike.
They pitch out and Burks stays. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Looks like he's giving Burks this slide step to home plate, but it doesn't look like he throws all that hard to this point in the game, and looks like a guy that Burks may be able to take advantage of at first base.
Lead foot right on the dividing line for Burks. He bluffs, and that ball is foul down the third base line with Reed going. Burks took a bluff step towards second, but was holding all the way. The count on Reed is 2-2.
I don't think there's any question Burks is on his own, especially when he's hitting in the leadoff spot. I think Joe Morgan would like him to be more aggressive at the top of the lineup, and that time obviously didn't feel like he had that good a jump, so he's going to pull up. One thing that does do, though, it creates some movement in the infield.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Burks takes off. Line drive, left field, base hit. Burks to third. The throw over there by Leonard, not in time. Runners at first and third, nobody out. So with Burks going, Reed got a good pitch to hit and lines it into left for a single. Burks easily to third.
Burks taking off for the stolen base, but with 2 strikes, Jody Reed hits the contact with the base hit, and the whole play is in front of Ellis, so easy for him to just pick up the baseball and continue on to third base. Right there, he'll take a look toward home plate. Now the play is in front of him, and he knows he can make third base easily.
Now here is Mike Greenwell. And a strike. Greenwell was hitless last night in 4 trips, and also the opening night, or 5 trips last, 4 each time. 0 for 8 in the series. 1 ball and 1 strike from Gary Eve.
These are the situations too that Greenwell has really been pressing in, men in scoring position.
It's a base hit into right center field, and Burks canters home with the run. Reed goes to third. 1-0 Boston. So they're jumping on Eve, and the error to lead off the ball game has cost an unearned run already. RBI number 5 for Greenwell. He finally got a chance to do something with people on base. He's had a chance, but he finally did something.
Came out this afternoon. He was out taking about a half hour of early batting practice and trying to work something out in his mechanics with his swing. Gets the base hit up the middle. Red Sox get on the board first, and that's a good feeling when you have Clemens going out to pitch for you.
Last couple of times they have not been able to do that because Dave Stewart was pitching for Oakland. But before that, they've been able to get runs for Roger and get them early. Tom Brunansky with a ball and no strikes, and the breaking ball outside. 2-0. Reed at third, Greenwell at first, and nobody out.
Mike Greenwell was 0 for 29 with men in scoring position until that base hit last time up.
Whoosh. Very high, shallow left. Brumley back, Leonard in. Jeff Leonard will run the ball toward the infield, and the runners will hold. Reed bluffing down the line at third. So there's 1 out as Brunansky got under that and missed it a little bit as he pops to shallow left to Jeff Leonard.
Those are ideal situations for Brunansky too, because he hits a lot of fly balls. You see the uppercut swing that he has. A couple of games we've watched Brunansky, and that's going to create a lot of fly balls. Just got underneath this one though, and not deep enough to score the run.
1 away. Dwight Evans up. Evans at 267. 4 home runs, 19 batted in. Ball 1.
I'll tell you right now, this Gary Eve is not throwing very hard at all.
Oh, he did. For a big guy like that, you expect maybe the fastball would be a little more live. Velocity. And the count is 2-0 to Evans. Back out of play. 2 balls, 1 strike. Eve is 6'4", weighs around 190, from Monroe, Louisiana. He went to Grambling College for a little bit. Grambling State University. And Evans now with a count of 2-2.
He's trying to live up in the strike zone too with all the soft stuff. The fastball, which doesn't look that hard at this point. I believe that was a changeup right there, Evans, and that was about letter high.
Evans looks inside, ball 3.
They send Greenwell at first here.
Full count. Greenwell takes off. They don't pay attention to him. Little pop up, and Davis will throw to first base, not in time for the double play. He falls down. Reed is halfway down the line. They finally realize they better do something about Jody because he was teasing a throw toward the plate, and they were looking around at the play at the plate. Eve finally getting himself up, but the pitch was popped up by Evans and caught by Alvin Davis.
Red Sox maybe letting Eve off the hook here in the first inning. A little pop up from Evans. Looked like he tried to check his swing and looked like it was going to end up as a double play, but a pretty good job by Greenwell to put on the brakes and get back to first base. Right here he sees the pop up. Now hustle back. You see the underhand flip right here from Davis, excuse me, and it's going to be late.
While they were determining where the ball was, Reed was halfway down the line. There's Tony Pena fouling one down into the seats. And it's 1 strike.
Tony Pena also out early today to take batting practice to test out that arm that was injured last night when Alvin Davis crashed into him at home plate.
So there was still a little swelling in there, but he was able to put on the pads and start the game. Strike. 0-2, and Pena takes a look at Welke. The Red Sox were out in men mass after the double by Reynolds last night that won the game, saying the ball was foul. Welke may hear a word or two tonight.
Yeah, the first close one tonight, there's going to be a barrage coming out of that Red Sox dugout, and somebody will get thrown out of this game.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Tony Pena. Greenwell at first, Reed at third. The big rip by Tony, and it's 1-2. Such a big rip. Valley goes out to talk to his pitcher.
Looks like the last couple of fastballs from Gary Eve have been thrown with a little better velocity than the ones we saw early in the inning. Maybe he just had a tough time loosening up.
I don't know what the book on him really is. There's Jody down at third base, and Greenwell over at first. 1-0 Red Sox, first inning, 2 out. Two and 2 to Pena.
As Pena, I said, you're going to take the night off tonight. He said, nope. So you can't feel 100% all the time in this game.
He saved me a little bit before the game. I was interviewing Ken Griffey, and the ball was headed right for my head. Tony stabbed it and fell into me. Fly to right field. Greg Briley puts it away, and the Red Sox get just 1 unearned run. After a half inning, Boston won, and the Mariners coming up. Leading off for the Seattle Mariners, Harold Reynolds, the second baseman, followed by Greg Briley in right field, Alvin Davis at first base, Jeffrey Leonard in left, Ken Griffey Jr. in center, Edgar Martinez at third, Scott Bradley, the designated hitter, Dave Valley, the catcher, and Mike Brumley at shortstop.
Defense tonight for the Red Sox. Randy Kutcher at third base. Wade Boggs still out of the lineup with the sore hand. Louis Rivera, the shortstop. Jody Reed at second. Carlos Quintana at first base. Left to right, Mike Greenwell, Ellis Burks, Tom Brunansky, Tony Pena behind the plate, and on the mound trying to break a 2-game losing streak, Roger Clemens. And well, for the first time in the last 3 outings, won't have to face a Langston or a Stewart. Plus the last 2 times out, both losses against the Oakland A's and Dave Stewart. Overall for Clemens, 4-2 with a 3.95 ERA, 33 hits in 41 innings. He's walked 13. He's struck out 43, and that's one ahead of Nolan Ryan for the American League lead in strikeouts, and he's held opponents to a .216 batting average. We want to watch tonight, of course, the groin problem he's been having. I don't think it's anything real serious, but we can watch him early in the game and see if he's able to push off. It's his right leg, and if it bothers him, he will not be able to push off effectively. He'll be throwing mostly with just his arm. He won't be getting that power from his legs, and you'll see a lot of high riding fastballs if that's the case.
He's talking about the high mound in Oakland and saying that because it's a high mound, he did not get to use his legs enough. It actually was easy on them, but did not get the really leverage that Roger Clemens gets from that lower body.
Well, most of the power pitches, the hard throws, the guys like Clemens, Nolan Ryan, they really get a lot of their power from their leg drive. And if you have some type of an injury to your legs, it's certainly going to affect the drive you have, and it puts extra strain on your arms. So you have to be very careful with those kind of injuries.
Harold Reynolds got the winning hit last night. The disputed double down the right field line. Jim Lefebvre, of course, the manager of the Mariners, he was right on the line. He said, absolutely, fair ball. And Welke said that the ball ticked off the glove of Quintana, and they disputed it. But, of course, the call was made. The double was there, and the Mariners won the ball game. Ball one to Reynolds, who's hitting .217 with 1 home run and 10 batted in.
Talked about Clemens' success here at the Kingdome. 19 straight scoreless innings against the Mariners.
Lifted toward shallow right center. Ellis Burks, 1 out.
I guess Welke changed his story a couple of times. The first time when he went out, he said the ball was foul. Then he said it ticked Quintana's glove in fair territory, and then changed that again and said no, it was just fair. It went over the bag. Well, a lot of different versions of what happened, but it certainly looked from our vantage point here, and you know, the initial reaction was that's a foul ball. And then when we looked at it in the replay, it looked a lot closer than I thought it was.
And we didn't have a good view up here, and the replay really didn't show conclusively about it. The closest guy to it and on the line was Tim Welke. Here's Greg Briley, a right fielder, hitting .273 with 1 home run and 10 batted in. Made a stunning catch last night. Second base, and Jody Reed had to really get up in a hurry. That ball was hit hard, and on this turf was gaining momentum, but Jody stayed with it, and they're 2 down.
Infielders on an AstroTurf surface, I don't think range is all that important, but I do think first step quickness is. And right there, Jody Reed, the quick crossover step to get to the backhand, and what he does too is he stays low on the backhand and has plenty of time to throw Briley out at first base. Range becomes important in the outfield. You need the great speed to cut down the gaps, but in the infield,
don't have time to have range.
Balls are going to shoot by you.
Yeah. 2 down in a hurry, and Alvin Davis is up. Red Sox leading 1-0 in the first. Davis, the first baseman, with a strike, hitting .282. He's got 2 homers this year and 7 batted in. He had 3 hits in the opening game of the series. He had 1 last night. Pretty good matchup here, pitcher and batter. Davis can turn on the fastball. He can also use the field, and that's the way they play him naturally with Clemens pitching. They are absolutely straight up in the outfield. 1-2.
Once again, you see the drive that Clemens will get. See how he pushes off against that rubber.
That's what kept Tom Seaver so excellent so long.
Oh, he was perfect.
That leg drive that he had.
All those old Met pitches, Seaver and Matlack,
Kuzman,
and of course Nolan Ryan, very similar in their deliveries to home plate.
It's high, and Pena says, keep it down, Roger. Sitting on the deck while he's saying that, he had to stab that one. Ooh. It's 3-2. Strike 3. Clemens gets him. Alvin knows it, and it's a 1-2-3 inning. After 1, the Red Sox lead 1-0.
This copyrighted program is brought to you under paid cable TV rights granted by the Boston Red Sox solely for the entertainment of our viewing audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of the accounts and descriptions of this game without the written consent of the New England Sports Network and the Boston Red Sox is prohibited.
Guess who beat the Yankees today? The Oakland A's, of course, 2-1. Although Dave Stewart started and did not get the win, Rick Honeycutt got it in relief, beating Eric Plunk. No home runs in that one, and a tight, well-pitched game before 32,000 plus at Oakland. So they just keep rolling. They swept the Yankees. They have now won something like 8 or 9 in a row over New York in the last couple of years. Detroit leading Milwaukee 2-1 in their ball game. That was a final score. Detroit defeated Milwaukee 2-1 at County Stadium. Although being out hit, Mosby homered for the Tigers. There's a foul off the bat of Carlos Quintana as we open the second inning. Whitaker homered for the Tigers. So the Tigers break a losing streak. They've been hitting home runs all over the place, but losing. Quintana at 351. 1 ball and 1 strike from Gary Eve. Two and 1. Texas leading Kansas City 5-2 in the 4th at Texas. Ruben Sierra has hit his 6th home run. Ball straight away center field. No problem for Ken Griffey. Hardly had to move, and Quintana is out with 1 away.
A lot of the ball players have been talking, the Red Sox players, about how this park is playing differently now because of the fences being moved back, or actually home plate moved closer to the dugout to increase the distance in left and left center. So the ball just doesn't seem to be carrying as well as it used to. It seems to be a little cooler here in the Kingdome. I don't know about that, but they say it doesn't seem to have the same life that it had.
Well, we haven't seen one hit out yet in two games, and that's very unusual. Luis Rivera back in the lineup again for 3rd time in this series. He is playing shortstop. Jody Reed is playing second base, and an unhappy Marty Barrett is riding the pine. 1 strike to Rivera.
There is a real, well, it's getting ready to be a blowout between Morgan and Barrett. They are not seeing eye to eye right now on just about anything.
Yeah, Barrett had wanted maybe a day off. He's getting 3, and no communication. That's to short. Little top spin. Brumley with a rifle over to Davis, and the out on Rivera. There are 2 away.
It's some kind of meeting where he had with Morgan, and Morgan said he was going to play this other lineup for a while, and then I guess he came to Barrett and was wondering about playing him maybe last night, and he says he was not ready to play, and it goes on, and I kind of get the feeling talking to Barrett that he's looking to be traded and would welcome that.
Randy Kutcher, meanwhile, is playing third base in place of Wade Boggs, who did take a few swings in the batting cage. The wrists being taped that he hurt in the opener of this series, and he also threw the ball around in the infield, but not playing tonight. 2 balls and no strikes. And that ball slammed into left for a base hit. 2-out single for Randy Kutcher.
Well, a base hit with 2 outs breaks up a nice little string that Gary Eve had. He got awful tough with those men on base in the 1st inning, and looked like the Red Sox were going to have a very big inning against him. He shut him completely down, and they got 2 quick outs here in the 2nd until Kutcher gets the base hit.
Funny about that Barrett situation too, Jerry, because they were very close. Morgan and Marty. He had him in Pawtucket.
Yeah.
And they were boosting each other all the time. First ball hitting, Ellis Burks pops it up to Harold Reynolds. Ranging back. That's it for the Red Sox. 1 hit and 1 left. And after an inning and a half, it's 1-0 Boston.
Well, the Red Sox return to Nessa next Wednesday at 8:30 when they take on Bo Jackson, George Brett, and the Kansas City Royals. Bob Kurtz gets your night of baseball going with Red Sox Digest at 8. And then at 8:30, the Red Sox battle the Kansas City Royals live on NESN.
Seattle coming up in the 2nd inning, trailing Joe Morgan's Red Sox 1-0. as Clemens got the side in order in the first inning. Cleveland is leading Milwaukee 4-3 now in the 7th inning at Minnesota. And Toronto is leading Chicago 4-3 in the 7th at Toronto. Steve Lyons has homered for the White Sox, and so has Ivan Calderon. Baltimore at California, down from us, south of here. Today, the Cubs homestanding at Wrigley shut out Atlanta 4-0, a 4-hitter, with Lancaster the winner. There's a foul into the crowd.
You talk about being behind a fastball. That ball was just about by Jeffrey Leonard by the time he tried to swing at it. I tell you, they've had some tough foul balls on that first baseline the last couple of nights.
They have. Leonard at 273 with 5 home runs, 21 batted in. He has 1 hit in the 2 games thus far. One ball and 1 strike. Phillies are leading Houston 6-0 after 4 at the Astrodome, and it's in the 6th inning now. Leonard lays off, and it costs him a strike. Montreal 5, the Dodgers 2 in the 7th at Montreal. And the Giants beat the New York Mets at New York today 4-2. Just outside, not by much. Clemens wanted that one. 2-2. Thompson, Bass, and Elster hit home runs in that Giant win over the Mets. Pittsburgh continues red hot. They beat Cincinnati 6-2 in a big battle of division leaders. Strike 3, fastball blown by him, and that's strikeout number 2 for Clemens.
Center fielder, number 24.
Jeffrey Leonard is going to have to show Roger Clemens tonight that he can hit his fastball again. He's way behind that heater from Roger and picks up his 2nd strikeout. He's totaling up the strikeouts in the games that he's worked. His lowest total was 2 strikeouts against Oakland that first time he faced him at Fenway, but he's had some big numbers, 10, 9, 8, 9 last time against the A's, and they all came early in the ball game.
Now he faces Ken Griffey, who gives it a ride towards center field, but not deep. Ellis Burks coming in, is playing medium deep in center, but had time to get the catch, and quickly there are 2 away in the Mariners' 2nd.
Number 11, Edgar Martinez.
Clemens, of course, looking for a big number today and looking for his 100th major league win. Only one younger to get 100 up to that point was Smokey Joe Wood. So Roger, with a win tonight, can do that. And quite remarkable. The fastball is up and in to Edgar Martinez, the 3rd baseman. Martinez hitting .333 with 3 homers, 8 RBI. Foul out of play.
Martinez taken out of the game last night after fouling a pitch off his knee. Back in the lineup tonight.
San Diego at St. Louis, 5-0 San Diego in the 5th inning, but there's been a delay in that game. 7-5 now. Cardinals in front. Another foul into that first base pit over there on battle lines. One and 2 to Edgar Martinez. Goes to right, very shallow, may drop. Does. Bernansky plays it correctly and throws back to first base. Pena there. He was trailing the play right up the line very alertly. Evans used to like to do that. So there's the first hit for Seattle. An off-field single by Martinez.
Bernansky very familiar with playing on the artificial surface. Of course, the time he spent in St. Louis and also in Minnesota. He's just going to back up on this ball, make sure it does not bounce over his head, and allow that runner to get on second base with 2 outs. Plays it on the 1 hop and then fires right behind Martinez as Pena hustles up the line. Attempted pickoff.
Martinez's 4th hit of the series. Here's Scott Bradley, designated hitter. Ball 1. Bradley is hitless in the series. Does have a walk. He's 0 for 7. On the year, no home runs, 6 RBIs, and a .297 mark. Fly ball straightaway center for Ellis Burks to end the inning. 1 hit, 1 left, and after 2, Red Sox 1, the Mariners nothing.
Tune in to NESN Thursday and Friday, May 17th and 18th for our annual coverage of the Big East Baseball Tournament from Muzzy Field in Bristol, Connecticut. On Thursday, May 17th, catch double elimination games at 1 and 4 p.m., followed up on Friday, May 18th by the championship game at 12 noon. That's the Big East Baseball Tournament live on NESN.
So they're having fun at the Kingdome, where the Red Sox have an unearned run to lead it 1-0. Moving into the top of the 3rd. Pete Incavilla of the Texas Rangers has hit his 5th home run. A 3-run job, and Texas now leads Kansas City 9-2 in the bottom of the 6th. That being played at Arlington. Royals won 2 in a row and look as if they might start something, but they're down 9-2 now. Jody Reed against Gary Eve. Ball 1. Reed singled to left field in the 1st inning and cracks that one foul.
John Dobson threw batting practice this afternoon for about 20 minutes. And he's going to take tomorrow off and do it again on Friday. He's eligible to come off the list on Sunday. I doubt they'll take him off the list till they get back to Fenway.
I don't think he's expecting to. I saw him in the hotel, and he said, I surely don't want to rush anything, but it feels pretty good, and I feel good about it. But he said, waiting's better. Harold Reynolds over to first to get Reed, and there's 1 out.
That's the big questions, Ned, have been about Mike Flanagan, and everybody's asking Joe Morgan how he feels about the situation, and I kind of get the feeling that he would like to have Flanagan on this team if they could work things out.
I would think so. Certainly looking at the situation and looking down the road a lot into the season. You have experience, you have a winner, a proven winner, knows how to win, and a left-handed thrower. Greenwell high to center field. Griffey still going back. And Mike Greenwell, who knocked in the Red Sox run in the 1st inning with a single, this time flies to center. Tom Brunansky coming on, fly to shallow left in the 1st. Brunansky has now had 3 hits and 11 times up as a member of the Red Sox. He has 3 runs batted in. Breaking pitch by Eve. One ball, 1 strike. Good fastball. It passes for the fastball of Gary Eve anyway. Got it on the outside corner in a good spot. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Brunansky has 16 career home runs against Seattle, and that's the most against any team in the American League. Also has 16 against Oakland.
It's a 2-2 count to Bruno.
Oh,
that is off Eve to 3rd, and it's going to be played over to 1st in time by Martinez. That ball cracked back to the box. Boy, somebody's going to get killed out there in the middle of the diamond in this series. 1-2-3 inning for Gary Eve, who I guess is all right. And after 2.5, it's 1-0 Boston.
Hi, everyone. I'm Bob Kurtz. Time for this Major League update brought to you by Budweiser. Let's go to the scoreboard and see what's happening in Major League Baseball tonight. This afternoon, the Tigers won at Milwaukee 2-1. A's won at 11 over the Yankees 2-1. 4-3, Toronto a winner over Chicago. Will's the winner there. Cleveland is leading at Minnesota 4-3. Twins batting in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Kansas City is getting docked by Texas. They're scoreless in California in the first inning. In the National League, 5-0 the Cubbies now over the Braves. That's the final, rained out after 4.5 innings. Cubs get the official win. 6-2, the Pirates win over Cincinnati. Other scores, 4-2, San Francisco winner over the Mets. Expos winners in that ball game. 8-0 Philadelphia over Houston in the 6th. And St. Louis leading San Diego 7-5. That's in the 6th inning. Congratulations to the Bruins. They won tonight over Washington 3-2. On to the Stanley Cup Finals, and the Paw Sox beat Toledo 7-3. This Major League update brought to you by Budweiser. Let's go back to the ballpark.
Pirates going crazy.
Bernansky, the last couple of nights, hitting the ball right back up the middle. He got Young last night, and this time he gets Gary Eve right off the hip. And the luck of the Mariners, right to third baseman Edgar Martinez, who will throw Bernansky out at first base. Well, you think you got one up the middle, you hit the pitcher, and then next thing you know, you're out.
That is known as a hip pointer. Beautifully pointed over toward third by Eve. Here's Dave Valley, the catcher, who's been kind of a wrecking crew at the plate for the Mariners against Boston. Had 2 doubles. He had 2 singles in the opener, and he had 2 doubles last night. Fouls it off. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 for 4 and 2 for 3. So a good 4 for 7 series for Valley, who right now is batting at 283. 263 with 3 home runs and 9 batted in. Fastball sounded high.
Well, Passock, congratulations along to the Bruins, who complete the sweep over the Washington Capitals.
Sweep, sweep, sweep.
I told
They
that
are
guy
hot
in the
on
booth.
the ice.
I told that guy in the booth, didn't I, Ned?
He sure did. Broadcaster for the Caps came up to see us at Fenway the other day. High pop-up right side, and Quintana for the out on Valley. Jerry said, well, you guys have just 4 more games to play this year, huh? Kidding him. The guy didn't take it too well. He was polite about it. He said,
Yeah,
I know. I hope we win a few, but I feel good about this team.
Yeah, I think we're going to play him tough, he said. Well, they did play him tough, but
2 games they did.
Yeah, see you next year.
First 2. Mike Brumley up, hitting .224, no homers, 5 batted in. He was a star last night in every sense of the game, offense and defense. Knocked in the tying run with the single to the opposite field, with the infield maneuvering all over the place on a bunt possibility. Yeah, the bad swing by Mike that time. 1 ball and 1 strike, and then he had 6 or 7 assists at shortstop. Made some fine plays there. His error tonight, though, has led to an unearned Red Sox run for Roger Clemens in this 1-0 game. Right through it, tipped it, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
You can just about forget about making contact on that kind of fastball from Clemens. It's probably over 90 miles an hour, plus it's about neck high. There's no way you're going to be able to catch up with this pitch.
Choke the bat and try to bunt it. Then you'll pop it up. Two balls and 2 strikes.
Oh, it sounds like they're throwing hard in this place. You know,
It
you
sure
get those
does.
flamethrowers, and it kind of echoes when it hits the catcher's glove.
2-2. Got him. Not much of a contest there with Mike Brumley striking out, and that's 3 for Clemens.
1 in each inning. This time the slider from Roger Clemens. 2 on a fastball tonight and 1 on the slider. Talking about that mound in Oakland, Ned, that seemed to be high, and getting the same semi-complaint from pitchers about this mound here in Seattle. This one also looks high. I think it just looks higher because it's the AstroTurf that surrounds the mound. There's no grass to kind of, you know.
It's very bare out there.
Yeah.
Harold Reynolds, strike 1. Well, you took some batting practice today. How did it look to you? with Dobson was firing at you, right?
It looked like it was only about 20 feet away from home plate. I don't know about how high it was.
Reynolds skies to the left side into shallow left, and Rivera waves Greenwell away. And in 1, 2, 3 go the Mariners. After 3 innings, Boston 1, Seattle nothing. Red Sox leading 1-0, an unearned run in the first inning against Gary Eve. And it is now the 4th. Evans, Pena, and Quintana coming up against the right-hander, who may or may not be doing it with mirrors, but he's kept them pretty much at bay after that couple of singles back-to-back in the first inning after the error.
Well, there's no question that he is throwing better now than he did in the first inning, and if that's a problem that he has, they're going to have to do something about that. Maybe make him warm up a bit longer and get his attention a little earlier in the ball game, because he may be out of there in the first inning.
Got a good breaking pitch over that time to Evans. This time it's a fastball up and in, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Dwight trying to check off, and it's 1-2. Two and two. Full count to Evans. Second time that Dwight has had that full count. He popped up in the first inning. Fouls that one off. Off day tomorrow. The team heads for Anaheim tonight, and tomorrow will be off. They will have Mike Boddicker, Greg Harris, and Eric Hetzel working in the series at Anaheim. And a strikeout. No, it was called ball by the plate umpire. Evans almost came up with an arm on a breaking pitch that Evans did hold back on and managed to keep the bat back of the plane.
Well, out of the strike zone, it looks like from that angle that Evans did hold up. They asked immediately the first base for Jimmy Evans to get the call, and he said no swing.
First walk given up by Eve. Tony Pena. Runner takes off, ground foul on the play. They had a play going that time with Evans taking off and Tony going the opposite way, but fouling it.
Evans was saying, well, last homestand, he said, I got to pay more attention to getting the signs at third base, because if I'm going to be hitting ahead of Tony Pena, it's a situation where he will be called upon to hit and run quite a bit. And Evans not accustomed to that as a base runner. Missed about 3 or 4 of them on the last homestand.
Be sure that Pena will be swinging. Evans takes off again. This time down to Reynolds, and he makes the play on Evans. Throws to first. Safe at first base. Almost a sensational double play by Harold Reynolds, who made the tag on the sliding Evans. Got a quick throw over there. They thought they had him, but ruled by Evans, the umpire, that Pena had beaten it for a fielder's choice.
Remember last night we talked about that situation where that base runner knows he's going to be out. Just hit the deck, go into a slide or something, and that throws the timing of the second baseman off. You'll see that Reynolds here is going to have to go down to try to tag Evans, and that's going to throw his timing off on the plate of first base. Right there, he goes for the tag. Now he's off balance and can't make a good throw to first base. The backhand play by Alvin Davis, but Pena beats it.
Ground ball third base way. Martinez gets to Reynolds, and this time they try again and don't get the double play again. But that was a hard double play to turn, as Quintana beats the throw down at first with Reynolds in the middle.
I'll tell you, Reynolds at second base did a heck of a job to get out of the way of Tony Pena, who was really hustling down the line trying to break up the double play. He got the force play and then quickly jumped up to avoid Pena's slide.
So the Red Sox are keeping the ball on the ground in this inning, and they've had 2 force plays. Quintana at first with 1 out, 2 out, and Rivera is up. Louis grounded to shortstop in the second. They will pitch him away, and it's a strike. The Angel pitchers down there over the weekend will be Jim Abbott against Mike Boddicker on Friday night, Bert Blyleven facing Greg Harris on Saturday night, and left-hander Chuck Finley with a 4-2 record against Eric Hetzel on Sunday afternoon. All games on TV 38.
That could be a difficult weekend for the offense. Three pretty tough pitchers.
Ball 1 to Rivera. 1 ball and 1 strike. Abbott and Blyleven, they need to get them together. They're having a kind of a little struggling start, both of them, and they have to have them going. Finley is probably the ace of the staff there. Langston behind him. 1-2 to Louis Rivera.
Angels have to come up here tomorrow to play another makeup game against the Seattle Mariners. The second time they've had to do that so far this year.
Yep. Mariners went home from Fenway to play them here to start their homestand. The Angels came out. They have to come one more time. That'll be in the All-Star break. They get booted out of an All-Star day off. And then the Mariners will finish their season with a lockout makeup. 3 games at Minnesota. Red Sox making their games up at home against the White Sox. 2-2. Stopped at the mound. This time not off the hip or anything else, as Gary Eve gets Rivera, and that ends the inning. 1 man left on base, no hits, and after 3.5, it's still 1-0 Boston.
Fans, you can have all kinds of Red Sox information at your fingertips when you purchase a 1990 Red Sox Media Guide. It's the same source of Red Sox facts and figures used by the radio and television announcers during the game. To order yours, send a $6.50 check or money order to Media Guide, Yorkie Way, Boston, Mass. 02215.
Red Sox leading the Mariners 1-0.
Right fielder, number 8, Gray.
This is a very good scoreboard here, which they keep up. And you can keep both leagues all the way. Oakland does the same thing. There's a couple around the league now that have done that. Sometimes it's just American League. A lot of them are just flash on and flash off on the National. But this stays right here, and you have complete vision. Fans can see what's going on, for instance, at Texas and Kansas City now in the 8th inning. And they keep it up to date. Greg Briley facing Roger Clemens, who's working on a 1-hitter. Up and way up in the air. Louis Rivera waiting for it to come down. It finally does. It doesn't hit anything up there. There's 1 high out for Briley.
Don't have to worry about the sun. You don't have to worry about the wind, but you do have to worry about losing it at the top of the dome. But as we mentioned before, it's much easier to pick the ball up here at the Kingdome than it is at the Metrodome in Minnesota. Kind of a gray cover on this thing, and you really don't lose the ball that much here.
Metrodome has those little holes that Reed Nichols used to say look like baseballs. All of them, if you're an outfielder and it's coming out of there. Hard to track a ball down. Alvin Davis was called out on strikes on a good fastball in the 1st inning. It's an anniversary of sorts for Davis. Shot. Nice play by Reed. He's out. 4 years ago on this date, Alvin Davis drove in 8 runs in a game, including a grand slam in a game for the Mariners.
Little topspin on this hard line drive from Alvin Davis right up in the midsection of Jody Reed. The only thing you hope is a second baseman, you don't jump too high and the ball stays down, but pretty true to hop bounces on the artificial surface. Once again, Reed likes playing way behind that line.
Yeah. Against somebody like Davis, you have to. Jeffrey Leonard, and ball 1. Leonard went down swinging in the 2nd. 2-0. Third in the American League in runs batted in, Leonard. Although, as we have been saying, it has not been apparent against Red Sox pitching this year. This being the 6th game the two teams have played, they've held Leonard pretty much in check. 2-1.
You wonder now if the problem with Clemens' groin is starting to bother him some. You might notice the last few pitches he's thrown have all been up, and that's been including the breaking ball. Pena's going to have to really get down in his crouch, get him down low, and try to get those fastballs down around the knees instead of around the letters. Like that.
When Clemens is at his absolute finest is when he has that fastball at the knees on the outside corner. And it's just unhittable. He keeps it steadily down there. 2-2. Fly ball, right center field. Elvis, back goes the two outfielders and taken by Brunansky in front of Ellis Burks, who had started for it more or less in his territory. But Brunansky over there to make the grab for the final out. 1-2-3 for Clemens. He's taken down 7 batters in a row. And after 4, it's 1-0 Boston.
Tune in tomorrow night for more Pawtucket Red Sox baseball when the Paw Sox host the Toledo Mud Hens, the farm team of the Detroit Tigers. It's the Paw Sox versus Toledo tomorrow night at 7 p.m. live on NESN.
So far, Roger Clemens has been Roger Clemens with this 1-0 lead, but he is facing Gary Eve, who's done a pretty good job with the off-speed stuff. Well, it seems off-speed when you look at Clemens, and the fastball by Eve is not the overpowering fastball, but he's had the ball in the strike zone. He's had them hitting his pitch and has given up 3 hits and 1 unearned run. He now faces them in the top of the 5th inning. Kutcher has one of those hits. He singled in the 2nd inning.
Clemens is probably sitting in the dugout saying, come on, fellas, this is not Dave Stewart. It's not Mark Langston.
Right. Finds himself in another 1-0 job midway through the game. 1 ball and 1 strike to Randy Kutcher.
See what happens, too, when you give a pitcher a second chance. Looked like the Red Sox had him on the ropes early in the game, had a chance to do some damage. He got out of that trouble, and he's been tough ever since.
Into shallow right field, who's got this one taken by Briley. Greg Briley trotting in, and Reynolds peeling off. Eve has not had too much of a chance to do much resting between innings, as Clemens has been retiring the side in order effortlessly. Ellis Burks is up 0 for 2. He scored the only run of the game, reached on an error in the 1st inning, finally got around the 3rd and scored on Greenwell's single.
Very close right there. They're hitting Burks out of the batter's box in fair territory, which he would have been called out. Take a look. He's going to try to drop it down the 3rd baseline, but he's still in that batter's box when it hits him, and he's not called out.
Get one step out of that box and
you're
in play now.
That's right. And if it hits the batter second time, you're also out.
0-1 to Burks. One ball, 1 strike. 1 away in the 5th inning. Red Sox leading 1-0. He's out in front of that one. One and 2.
Second straight game for Burks in the leadoff spot. Of course, with Boggs unable to play. He did it 5 times last year for the Red Sox.
Very high, but foul down in left field corner and out of play. Leonard over toward the corner. 1 and 2.
He would very much like to have a home run soon, Ellis Burks, to kind of get him off the mark and get going. That's where they thought some of the improvement from the home runs would come this year, from guys like Burks and Greenwell, increase those home run numbers. And now you've added Brunansky.
Sooner or later, something's got to pop, I would think, out of those fellas. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Did not go. 2 and 2. Ellis has hit in 10 of his last 12 games. And drives the count 3-2. Bat and ball go to shortstop. Gotta hurry. Ellis is beaten by a running step. He's in the air practically when Brumley finally located the ball with a bat out there near him. And there are 2 away.
Anytime you have a swing like this and break a bat, you really don't get a good jump out of the batter's box. You see right there, Burks is not getting out as quickly as he normally would. Plus the fact Brumley kind of freezes at shortstop also as that bat comes out toward him. Makes it a close play at first base, but just in time to get Burks.
2 down to Jody Reed. 1 for 2. Ball 1. Eve seems to be content to use that breaking pitch a lot. He will start off batters with it as he did there with Reed. And moves him away with a fastball to make it 2-0.
Sliders, change-ups, and every once in a while a fastball. And recently that fastball has been in on the right-handed hitters.
Reed pops it up on the 2-0 count. Who's got this one? Alvin Davis. Easy 1-2-3 inning for Gary Eve. And we go to the bottom of the 5th with the Red Sox leading 1-0.
Hi, everyone. I'm Bob Kurtz. Time for this Major League update brought to you by TWA. To the scoreboard we go. Lots to talk about. A lot of final scores this afternoon. 2-1 Detroit over Milwaukee. Whitaker and Mosby with home runs in that ball game at Oakland this afternoon. Henderson walked with the bases loaded in the 11th inning. A's beat the Yankees 2-1. In Toronto tonight, Lions and Calderon with home runs. Toronto, though, wins at 4-3. 7-3. Minnesota's winning streak comes to an end at 6 as the Indians beat the Twins. At Texas tonight, Kansas City is getting bopped. 9-2 is the score in that ball game right now, and they're in the second at Anaheim, and they are scoreless. To the National League, this afternoon it rained after 4.5 innings. Official ball game, though. The Cubs win it on home runs by Sandberg and Ramos. At Pittsburgh, 6-2, the Pirates over Cincinnati. At New York tonight, the Giants are winners. Montreal topping Los Angeles. At Houston, Philadelphia running away with it now 9-0 in the Dome. And at St. Louis at 7-5 there in a rain delay at Busch Stadium. The Bruins are winners by a score of 3-2 over Washington. They go on now to the Stanley Cup Finals. Paw Sox won 7-3. Major League update brought to you by TWA. Let's go back out west to Ned and Jerry.
All right, the word on all the other games that are being played tonight in the major leagues. Pittsburgh Pirates are really something. With their win over Cincinnati, they are now 19-8. And that is the second best record in baseball to the Oakland A's, who are now 21-6. Geez, they're starting out like those Tigers in 1984. 35-5 at one time.
Got to hand it to them, Ned. They made the commitment very early to make sure they got off to a good start. They didn't want to sit on what they did last year. There's going to be a time throughout the course of the season they're going to have some problems. But if they stay injury-free.
You can get a bulge like that in that division while you're in pretty good shape. Ken Griffey is now down on the count 0-2 to Roger Clemens. Griffey fly to center field in the second. Big, long, looping swing that time on strike 2. To the left side, and Kutcher at third. 1 out.
Third baseman, number 11, Edgar.
Griffey has been held hitless in this series.
Maybe it's that Sports Illustrated jinx, Ned.
Starting to come a little late, but he had one good game against the Red Sox at Fenway, 3 hits, but they've pretty much taken care of him.
That's why I kept neglecting to have my picture on the cover of Sports Illustrated. I didn't want that to happen to me, you know.
Well, you were so superstitious. Yeah. They kept asking you all the time.
That was awful.
Jerry, we need it on this week. No.
I thought I was on the cover of Orthopedics Weekly.
made heroes out of Dr. Pappas. There's a shot up the middle by Martinez. Edgar Martinez has both hits off Clemens. He looped a single to right in the second. This time a sturdy ground ball up the middle.
I'll tell you what, the Red Sox have not been able to figure a way to get Edgar Martinez out. He was very hot last week against them in Boston and continues that this week in Seattle. All kind of base hits too. Ground ball base hit, line drive base hits, home runs, bloopers to the opposite field.
2-run double he's got in this series. He had 5 hits in the 3 games. The pitch outside to Scott Bradley. Ball 1. Red Sox lead 1-0. An unearned run in the first inning. Mariners have a runner with 1 out in the 5th. A little bit high again. And it's 2-0.
I don't like the way this game's going right now. It seems like it should be a much higher score from the Red Sox point of view, but it's not. And this is like last night. You got the best performance of the year out of Matt Young last night, and obviously you're getting the best performance of the year out of Gary Eve tonight.
2 balls, no strikes. The Red Sox able to do really nothing with Eve. Well, not much with Adam either. Outside, ball 3. Three and 0. Clemens has not walked a batter. He has struck out 3 and given up the 2 hits, both to Martinez. There's a strike. 3 balls, 1 strike to Bradley.
I think sometime you may get a cookie 3-0 to take a hack at, but that was probably about a 90-mile-an-hour fastball from Clemens on the 3-0 count.
Yep. Bradley usually gets the bat on the ball somewhere along the line. Martinez right at the edge at first and ducking back.
They said in Oakland they had him on the radar gun at some 95, 96 with a lot of his fastballs that night early in the game. I don't think he has that same velocity tonight, but he's still throwing hard tonight.
3 balls and 1 strike. And that is a strike. Third base umpire Coble said, yeah, you did go. Bradley tried to steal the call, headed up the line. He has to come back, and it's 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Bradley tries to hold up the swing, and it looks like that bat head gets out in front of the plate, tries to bring it back, and a good call by Coble at third base.
3-2. Martinez goes, and it's fouled off.
A high-risk play right here. You got the strikeout pitcher on the mound, but the thing is right here is that Bradley does not strike out that much. Only 3 times this year, and he's always been a very difficult man to strike out.
Yeah, he doesn't 20 to 30 strikeouts a year, if that. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Martinez again goes. Strike 3. Throw to second base. He's out. There's going to be an argument on that, and I feel sure Coos saying what the heck happened, but he got him, and it's a strikeout into a double play. Bradley did not miss the ball. He just took it for strike 3, and Clemens coming back from a 3-0 count to get him. There's 1 out, and here's the play at second.
Hi, I'm Mike Greenwell, and I want to invite all of you to Fenway Park on Saturday, June the 9th, when we play the Cleveland Indians at 1:05 p.m. It's Very Fine Helmet Day, and the first 15,000 fans 15 years and younger will receive a replica of the Boston Red Sox batting helmet, compliments of Very Fine fruit juices. You'll look like a big leaguer in this great helmet, so don't miss out. Tickets are on sale at Fenway Park. You can also charge tickets by calling 617-267-1700. That's Very Fine Helmet Day.
Generally, when Bradley swings the bat, he makes contact. Here he takes a nasty fastball on the outside, and Pena will throw out his 11th base stealer of the year in 26 attempts. And a very close play going to that shortstop side. Reed has to come back. It looks like he may have got that foot in there. And a funny call from Dale Ford. It looks like he had one arm that was going to call him safe and the other that was going to call him out.
Got to be ambivalent sometime when you're an umpire. There it goes. The one arm came safe, and the right arm finally waved him out and looked as if he had the base stolen from the replay. But in this series, as in all series, the umpire is right. Greenwell is up, and he's had a one hit in 2 trips. He knocked in the only run of the game with a single in the first inning, and it's an unearned run off Gary Eve. 2 balls and no strikes. Two and one.
A little something off that 2-0 fastball. I don't think it was quite a changeup, but almost like a batting practice fastball, but he kept it on the outside corner.
And maybe a little tail on it. Knocks Greenwell backing away on ball 3. Eve has not struck out anybody. He has walked 1 while giving up just the 3 hits early. Ball 4. Lead man on for the Red Sox in the 6th.
Only 2 walks for Gary Eve tonight. As you see the phone to the bullpen start the jingle, and both the times it's been to lead off the inning. Back in the 4th, Evans the base on balls, now Greenwell, but he handled the rest of the order of that inning. Bob Nackert, the right-hander. Not Bob, excuse me, Brent Nackert.
Tom Brunansky is the batter. Strike 1. He has flied to left and hit a shot back to the box, and it ricocheted off the hip of Gary Eve over to third. Martinez threw Brunansky out. Foul back. Mariners still without their outfielder, Mickey Brantley, who's just walked away from the AAA club when he was not called up, and Dave Cochran was. And he's just going to walk away from baseball, maybe. He's trying to force a trade. And the Mariners say, we wonder what he's talking about. You know, baseball people don't like that.
They're going to have to find him first to let him know he's traded if they do trade him.
Brunansky, a line drive, and that's going to be an out at first base. Ball was trapped at third. What a play at third base. And they went for the trap, and Martinez kept it in the air and doubled Greenwell off.
What a tremendous play by Edgar Martinez at third base. Looked like the ball was by him. Able to backhand, go to second for 1, and then Reynolds completes the double play. Get Brunansky at first. What a great play. He's done everything.
Yes, he has. He's been on both sides of the ball, too. That ball was rocketed so fast it was almost past him into left field by the time he took it on the trap hop. And that double play was so easy. Greenwell wondered himself just where he was wandering around out there, and all of a sudden it's a 5-4-3 double play.
Oh, Evans right there wants to check the baseball from Gary Eve. As soon as that pitch got by him, he immediately asked Tim Welke to check the ball.
So Evans now is 1-1 on the count. Evans has popped up and walked. And it is now 2 balls and 1 strike.
How about Brunansky? He could be 2 for 3 in this game easily.
He's had 2 rockets, one of them off the hip of the pitcher for an out, and Martinez made that play this time.
I think he went to his mouth and they called a ball.
Okay, he's right in the circle there. You can't do that unless it's 13 degrees. 2-1. Martinez again. He owns that inning, starting the 5-4-3 double play and getting Evans out, ranging to his left. So he is coming back from making 4 errors in the inning 4 days ago. And after 5 1/2, it is still 1-0 Boston.
Stay with Nesson Saturday for a live college baseball doubleheader. The Trojans from Southern Cal and the Stanford Cardinals lead things off at 4 o'clock. Then at 8, the Miami Hurricanes come north to battle the Maine Black Bears. It's a great twin bill of college baseball action Saturday, live on Nesson. Miami coming to Maine, that's unusual. A lot of times the other way around, they make the southern trip to go down and play the teams in Florida, but welcome to New England.
Maine makes those trips usually in March when it's not playable up there. And a lot of those northern college teams do that. They go through the South, or they go to the Midwestern teams go to California. Roger Clemens so far working on a 2-hit shutout. He's leading 1-0, presented with an unearned run in the first inning. And he will go against Valley, Brumley, and Reynolds here in the bottom of the 6th.
And it's 24 consecutive scoreless innings here at the Kingdome for Clemens.
Boy, he has 4 strikeouts along the way. Got out of a good jam, not a mini jam really. Runner at first base, 1 out in the 5th, and a 3-0 count to Scott Bradley, and he struck him out into a double play. Valley is 0 for 1. Popped up to first base his first time and takes ball 1.
Difficult to rack up the strikeouts against this Mariner ball club. They don't strike out very much.
Far cry from what they did 4 years ago. They were the leading strikeout club in the majors. 20 of them in one night against Clemens. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Coming into this game tonight, they've struck out second fewest in the American League. The only team that struck out less than them has been the Minnesota Twins. Red Sox are 3rd in the league in that department.
2-1 knee for Valley, and the count is 2-1. Cleveland Indians beat Minnesota tonight 7-3 at the Metrodome. So they hang around near just a little over 500 in the East. 2 balls, 2 strikes. John McNamara's team got a terrible start, but then they started playing pretty good baseball. They are now 14-13. The Red Sox, if they should lose tonight, would be 14-13. Of course, if they win, they would be at 15-12 and gain a game on Toronto.
Getting some big numbers out of Candy Maldonado, both batting average, home run wise. Brooke Jacoby, high batting average.
High to center field, and Ellis Burks toward right center. Valley is out.
Clemens been able to keep that leadoff man off base, and that eliminates the sacrifice bunt and all those crazy things that happen in a 1-0 game.
Game very much the same pattern as last night. Mike Brumley went down swinging in the 3rd. He was just overmatched by a Clemens fastball. Strike 1. And strike 2.
That might have been the first split-fingered fastball Clemens has thrown all night. I don't remember another one.
Nothing in 2. Probably digging. Chops it off the foot. Foul ball. Toronto did beat the White Sox 4-3 at Toronto, and so they will hang in there in the 2nd place spot in the American League East. And Milwaukee lost its game to Detroit, so the Blue Jays gain a game on the Brewers and are now a game out. A wave and strike 3. Don't bother to run. Strikeout number 5 for Clemens. He's gotten Brumley twice.
Got him that time on the split finger. A couple of those that time to the number 9 hitter Brumley. That time he got it back to the outside part of the plate and down, actually out of the strike zone.
Now goes against the top of the order, Harold Reynolds, who has flied to center and popped to short. 3 hits for the Red Sox, 2 for the Mariners. Mariners have made the error that accounted for the run. A strike. One and one, bluffing the bunt.
The play last night, Ned, where Quintana threw to home plate to cut down the run. I was asking about that today because he made it look so easy. He said just before that, Pena had yelled down to him in Spanish, if the ball's hit hard, you come home with it. And he reacted when he got the ground ball.
Immediately. Down low to Reynolds. And a 2-ball, 1-strike count. There's a strike 2. High to right field, Brunansky. The side in order in the 6th. And we go to the 7th. Boston 1, Seattle nothing. Red Sox coming up in the 7th inning at the Kingdome in Seattle, and the Red Sox have a 1-0 lead. In the 1st inning, Ellis Burks led the game, reaching on an error by Brumley at short. Reed singled him around to third base, and he scored on a single by Greenwell. And the next 3 men went out easily. That's been it. Tony Pena has flied to right and had a fielder's choice. Eve gets that strike over as we look at Michael Jackson warming up in the bullpen now down in right for Seattle. Comes in on Pena. I can feel the breeze up here on that one.
Longest Eve has gone in a ball game this year is 5 1/3 innings. His last time out against Baltimore only lasted 3 2/3 innings, 5 hits and 4 runs. So no question that this is his most impressive outing probably of his major league career, which has been very brief. A couple of games last year with Atlanta.
Jackson in the bullpen. Pena to right field. Briley. 1 out.
First baseman, Carlos Quintana.
1 down in the 7th, and Quintana is up. Carlos has flied to center, had a fielder's choice. Drills it to left field. Well hit. And out of here for a home run. 2-0 Red Sox. Homer number 1 for Carlos Quintana. Got the pitch that he wanted, pulled it into the deck in left field, and the Red Sox have a cushion.
Looked like something off speed from Gary Eve, and Quintana jumped all over it for the line drive home run. Mentioned that his first of the season, and a big run right there for the Red Sox. He turned the fastball over, not a hard fastball. Quintana just whipped it out inside and gets it over that plexiglass for the 2nd run of the game for Boston.
1 out, 1 in, and Rivera up. He goes deep. That's pretty far, and that is gone. Woo. You go in a hurry here. Louis Rivera with his first home run and his 2nd hit of the season. And now it's 3-0 Boston.
Wow.
Back-to-back homers by the 7 and 8 hitters in the lineup. Little Louis got all of that one and arched it a little bit higher than Quintana's shot. You know, the two friends who are very close together as friends off the field get back-to-back home runs off Gary Eve.
You see that an awful lot. The pitcher will give up a home run, and then right away the next hitter will either get a base hit, but in this case, Rivera almost the same pitch that Quintana hit out for the home run. A lot of times that thought is still on the ball that just left the ballpark, and you get beat up on the very first pitch you throw to the next hitter. That's still a very strong outing right there for Gary Eve.
Yeah. Coming into this inning and pitched 3-hit baseball. Got the first batter on a fly ball to right field, and then home runs quickly to Quintana and Rivera to get him out of the game. So he goes 6 1/3, the farthest he's gone this year. And got a nice hand for the fans who appreciate the effort early in this ball game. He has given up 5 hits and 3 runs, 2 homers. He walked 2. He did not have any strikeouts. And he leaves the bases clear and gives over to Mike Jackson.
Second appearance of the series for Mike Jackson against the Red Sox. He worked an inning in the first game of the series. No hits, no runs. He walked 1 and struck out 1. Overall, this will be his 11th appearance of the season. He's 1-2. Both those decisions against the Baltimore Orioles. 15 hits in 13 2/3 innings. He struck out 14, and he's walked 4. Well, things happened very quickly here in the 7th inning. Looked like for a while that Gary Eve was going to shut the Red Sox down the rest of the night, but there were 7 and 8 men in the lineup. Quintana, Rivera, back to back.
First home runs of the series by either side. And a 3-0 Red Sox lead for Roger Clemens.
Talked about last year. There they are sitting down enjoying long ball, probably talking about who's went further. We know Rivera's went higher. Last year we mentioned that Brooks was the only Red Sox player to get a home run here at the Kingdome, and a place that gave up an awful lot of home runs last season. Now 2 in 1 game, and they waited until the 3rd game of the series.
Quintana showing the direction of the pitches.
Yeah, it was
apparently
almost the same pitch to both of them.
Both of them the tailing pitch. Didn't tail very much. Turned over, as you say, more than tailing. So Michael Jackson will face Randy Kutcher with 1 out, 2 runs in the 7th. A little bit of a different show here from Jackson than you'd get from Eve. Jackson can throw hard. 1 ball and no strikes to Kutcher. He singled in the 2nd inning. Fly to shallow right in the 5th, and the count on him now is 1 ball and 1 strike.
That has to give Clemens a much better feeling in that Red Sox dugout, having 3 runs to work with now.
Two and 1. Out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Kutcher, with Burks on deck. Two the count with 1 out. And it is ball 3. Count hangs that way. First home runs of the season for Quintana and Rivera. So you get help where you don't look for it, although Quintana is capable of hitting some home runs in the season. Kutcher draws a walk. Jackson walks his first batter and now will face the top of the order. Ellis Burks coming in 0 for 3. 2 of the 3 runs that Eves gave up, of course, were earned, the home runs, but the one that scored in the 1st inning was unearned.
I tell you,
fastball.
you talk about being able to get a jump off a pitcher. I mean, this leg kick from Jackson comes all the way around the back of the mound. You don't even have to have great speed to be able to get a jump here.
Once you see that leg go way back.
Different look.
He bluffed that time and came back, and it's going to cost him a double play. 1-6-3, so Jackson gets out of it by firing to Reynolds, and the Mariners turn their second double play. So we go to the bottom of the seventh. 3-0 Boston.
Hi, everyone. I'm Bob Kurtz. Time for this Major League update brought to you by Budweiser. Let's go to the scoreboard. Most of them are final tonight around Major League Baseball. This afternoon, Tigers win it 2-1. Whitaker and Mosby was home runs. Petrie winning the ball game. Oakland over the Yankees 2-1. A final in 11 innings. Henderson walking with the bases loaded. Toronto a winner in the Sky Dome tonight over the White Sox. Twins winning streak comes to an end at 6. They lose to Cleveland 7-3. Kansas City losing at Texas tonight 9-3. Now a final score. And Baltimore and California are scoreless into the fourth inning. Harnish against Langston in that one. This afternoon it rained in Chicago. Game called after 4.5. An official ball game though, with the Cubbies winning at 5-0. 6-2. Pittsburgh a winner over Cincinnati. Other finals from the National League. San Francisco over the Mets 4-2. Montreal took care of the Dodgers tonight by a score of 5-3. Philadelphia Club Houston 10-1. St. Louis 11-5 over San Diego in the seventh inning. Bruins won by a score of 3-2 over Washington. Paw Sox beat Toledo 7-3. That's a Major League update brought to you by Budweiser. Let's go back out west now and rejoin Ned and Jerry.
We're going to see it. Hey, thank you, Bob. That update. We're going to take a look at that play to end the inning. That time he does not kick the leg way back, goes to the slide step. You saw Kutcher started to take off and then stopped because he got a different look from Jackson. And that'll be the double play right back to the mound and over to complete the double play to get Brooks. But he saw the same move that we did, and then he said, I'm going to try to steal on this next pitch. But then Jackson got smart, gave him the slide step, and he just held right where he was.
Yeah, that ball that was hit off the edge of the dirt right around home plate and took a funny little crow hop out, so it was easy for Jackson to make the play. Had some spin on it going off the bat. Reynolds made the final out in the sixth inning, and Briley, Davis, and Leonard will come up in the bottom of the seventh.
Between innings, Jeff Reardon made his way down to the Red Sox bullpen. You mentioned he's available tonight if needed.
Briley is 0 for 2. Slowly hit Quintana to Clemens in time. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Red Sox pitching staff looking for their first complete game of the season, and if the Mariners keep swinging at the first pitch here late in the game, they just may get that tonight from Clemens.
Yep. Keeping his pitch count down that way. He has been powerful tonight. He's been to the point where he is stretching right now, but only a couple of the outs have been hard. Long fly ball deep to right by Leonard back in the fourth inning, and a couple of ground balls, but most of the time most of the outs have been routine. Inside and high to Davis, who has taken a third strike and grounded to second. Reed backs up well back of that line into towards shallow right. Clemens falls behind 2-0 to Alvin Davis. There it goes. Well stroked toward right field and out of here for a home run. Davis, number 3, and it's a 3-1 ball game. Well, we've seen him do that before here. Nothing new.
Watch the wrist on Davis when we get a replay on that home run. He just really flicks the wrist at this ball and lines it out of this ballpark. That ball's on the outside part of the plate. Look at him roll those wrists over to get the home run. A 2-0 pitch from Clemens, not his best fastball, just trying to get a strike, and Davis takes advantage.
Leonard carves away and fouls it first base way out of play. So the Mariners get into the pay dirt area. They still trail by 2 home runs. 3-1 ball game. Alvin Davis has 18 homers against Boston pitching since he came up in 1984. Nothing in 2 to Leonard. Fanned in the second. Fly deep to right in the fourth. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
That also ends the consecutive streak of scoreless innings here at the Kingdome for Clemens against the Mariners.
At 19 coming in and 6 here. 25 1/3 scoreless innings before that home run by Davis. Tries to get the slider away from Leonard, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
A bit of a struggle now, Clemens, after the home run. Nobody yet loosening up in the Red Sox bullpen. 1 more base runner. You'll see some activity there pretty quick.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Leonard stays alive. Well, it's getting to look more like the Kingdome now. Home runs shooting out of here. Clemens with a count of 2-2 to Jeff Leonard. Now 3-2.
Yeah, lost some confidence in his fastball after that home run because he was really throwing the ball by Jeffrey Leonard early in the game, and now he's sticking with breaking balls against him. Now a conversation with Pena and Clemens.
Mariners don't make it easy, particularly in their ballpark anymore. 3-1 Red Sox lead. Home runs by Quintana and Rivera the difference now. Roger right now with his 3rd full count of the evening. Left side, and a nice stop by Kutcher. Randy Kutcher takes a hit away from Leonard. There are 2 away.
Oh, what a play by Kutcher. Way off the line at third base, and if he doesn't get a glove on this ball, there's no way Rivera is going to be able to make a backhanded play and throw Leonard out at first base. Low fastball from Roger Clemens, and just stabbing at it as Kutcher, and then gets himself in good position to make a strong throw to first base, and Leonard is out by a long shot.
Roger says thank you, Randy, and we'll go to work on Griffey. Ken Griffey 0 for 2. Fly to center, grounded to third. One ball and no strikes. Pena really fun to watch.
You know, we're playing a guessing game every time we talk about the possible groin injury, but you remember when he had to cover first base on that play? Since that time, he's been doing a lot more stretching and moving on the mound.
Yeah.
You just don't know.
He's behind to Griffey, 2-0. Clemens starting to throw a lot of pitches now. He still has not walked a batter. Has given up only 3 hits in the game. 3 balls, 1 strike. And Griffey takes a walk.
First walk of the evening given up by Roger Clemens.
There it is again, Ned. It was a 3-1 count. He goes back to the slider on the 3-1 count. Threw a pretty lively fastball 3-0 to Griffey, thinking that maybe he'd have the green light. Then when he gets in the 3-1 situation, throws that breaking ball down. Still no action in the Red Sox bullpen.
So now the Mariners have the tying run at the plate, as some trouble appears at home plate in the person of Edgar Martinez. 2 for 2. Ball 1. He looped a single to right in the second, and he singled to center hard in the fifth.
He's having a hard time right now. His mechanics are not the same as they were an inning or two ago. His follow through is not the same as it was, and he's getting tired.
Rhythm isn't the same. The pace isn't the same. Sometimes when this happens, he starts to move off the mound a little bit more often.
Takes a lot more time between pitches.
He still has the lead at 3-1. 1 ball, no strikes to Martinez. Fly to right field, and Brunansky to end the inning. 1 run on the homer by Davis, and 1 left after 7. Boston 3, Seattle 1.
The official 1990 Boston Red Sox yearbook is now available. The great-looking book is bursting with full-color photos, plenty of information on players, coaches, and manager Joe Morgan. You can order the copy by sending $6, check or money order. The yearbook, Box 1616, Boston, Mass. 02130.
Jody Reed up against Mike Jackson. Top of the 8th inning. Red Sox leading 3-1. Reed has had a single in 3 trips. And Jackson gets him swinging on that one for a 1-1 count. Outfield bunched toward left center, with Jeffrey Leonard moving over toward Griffey and giving Reed a lot of the left field line. Eric Hetzel scheduled to pitch on Sunday in Anaheim.
I guess he got a pretty good case of food poisoning yesterday at a Mexican restaurant here in town, and he get to the ballpark and they had to send him back to the hotel.
Well, that's one scratched off the list for the next trip in.
Casa de Trouble.
Stomaco trouble. 1 ball and 2 strikes, and 1 ball and 3 strikes as Jody Reed is down swinging. The first strikeout for Jackson.
A couple of different breaking balls from Michael Jackson. He'll have a slow curve ball and that hard slider that he'll throw. And excellent location away from Jody Reed.
Here's Greenwell. Mike has had a single to drive in a run in the first, fly to center field, and walked. Ball 1. Baltimore and California have a good one going on down in Anaheim. 0-0, 5th inning.
That's Rob Murphy working the last couple of games for the Red Sox. I don't believe he's down in the bullpen. This is probably a night off for him.
I would think so. 2-1 to Mike Greenwell. Reynolds at second. 2 out. Looking to the 8th inning for Seattle. They'll have the lower third of their order up against Clemens, Bradley, Valley, and Brumley. Brunansky. Ball 1.
Brunansky should probably have 2 hits in this game. A rocket last time to Martinez, who turned over the double play and then hit Gary Eve off the hip, eventually thrown out at first base.
Another hard shot. This one gets through into left field for a hit. 2-out single by Tom Brunansky. His 4th hit since coming to the Red Sox.
With the exception of the fly ball in the first inning, that's the softest one he's hit all night, and this one gets through for the base hit. Again, down toward Martinez. He'll get it by him this time to get that 2-out hit.
Didn't get by him by much.
he clamped down a little, one more half an inch or so, he might have stopped the ball anyway. Dwight Evans is 0 for 2 with a walk. One ball, no strikes to Evans. And there goes Bernansky with a pop-up by Evans. And Reynolds pockets it for the out. Dwight Evans with Bernansky running pops up to end the inning, and they leave one, and we go to the bottom of the 8th. 3-1 Boston.
You want to see an excellent jump, watch the jump Bernansky gets right here. Wow, he's already gone before he moves that leg. Then that big leg kick way behind, but Evans swings at the pitch and pops it up.
He had about a 4-step jump that time.
I'll tell you, that's Bernansky will get some stolen bases, and that's how he gets them. You know, they don't pay attention to him at first base, and he'll take off and he'll go.
Dennis Lamp warming up alongside. He's the one that's the serious warmer there, with Eric Hetzel getting some throwing in between starts. Roger Clemens on the mound, though, has gone through 7 innings, has given up 3 hits and 1 run. The homer by Alvin Davis in the 7th.
We see Lamp up in the bullpen net. I know Reardon is down in the bullpen, but he said he's available. I'm sure Morgan would like to squeeze out of this game without having to use him.
Got a day off tomorrow.
Right.
Then he'll be all set for the Anaheim series.
See, he's starting to stretch down there now, though. He may get up and start to throw.
Down to short. Rivera. To Quintana. 1 pitch and Bradley is out. Jeff Reardon stepped on a baseball before the game on Sunday in Oakland. Turned his ankle. They were really worried about it, whether it might have a little fracture in it, but they x-rayed it here. No break. And he's just been kind of nursing it back and is able to pitch if necessary tonight. A strike on the outside corner. Cochran, Dave Cochran, is in the on-deck circle with Brumley scheduled up. Clemens has just overmatched Brumley at the plate, striking him out twice tonight. Strike right on that outside slice. And quickly it's 0-2 to Dave Valley. Valley has popped up and flied to center. He's out of there. Number 6 for Clemens. He racks up Dave Valley. Some really pretty unhittable pitches in that sequence.
Yeah, it looks like that strike zone got very big, too, with 2 strikes. Payne is sitting on the outside part. He's going to pull it back in. And the call by Tim Welke, the home plate umpire. Valley looks at that spot and says that can't be a strike. Clemens settled down nicely here in the 8th after a struggle in the 7th.
Bradley helped him out by going for the first pitch and grounding out, and then he stayed right away from Valley. Here is Dave Cochran up. Cochran batting for Brumley. We've seen some of Cochran in this series. Just brought up from AAA. And there is Clemens with the play and getting himself an easy 1-2-3 inning. We go to the 9th with the Red Sox leading 3-1.
NESN's exclusive coverage of Boston Red Sox baseball is being brought to you in part by Nissan, building cars for people who want more than just a means of getting from here to there. Nissan, built for the human race. By Budweiser, the king of beers. Remember, know when to say when. By Texaco, star of the American road. By your Chevy dealers of New England. Start where more people end up. Buy a Chevy today. By your New England area Century 21 offices. Put your trust in number 1, Century 21. And by TWA. Find out how good we really are.
The Red Sox up in the 9th against Mike Jackson. Boston leading 3-1, and Tony Pena first up. There goes another one. Well back, and see you later. Home run for Pena, 4-1. Tony's third. Oh, he belted that one into the runway in left field. That one was the farthest yet. 3 home runs for the Red Sox in the lower part of the order, and they lead by 3 runs.
Can you imagine Pena, Quintana, and Rivera in the back of the plane tonight on the way to Anaheim?
Oh, boy.
Long, long home run here from Tony Pena. It looked like a breaking ball from Jackson, and that ball is going to run out toward the street if they got the door open. There they go. They're already going to start.
Tony likes that. Jackson low and away to Quintana. 1 ball and no strikes. Carlos 1 for 3, the home run in the 7th inning, and gives it a fairly good ride to center field, but Griffey canters back for the first out. Well, that's a big blow. That gets Roger Clemens into another pad situation whereas if he gets in with a 2-run lead and a man gets on base, the way things are flying out of here tonight, you never know.
I wonder when the last time the Red Sox had 3 home runs in a game.
Had to be at Fenway somewhere.
Came into tonight's game with 14 as a team. So the 3 makes 17, and that should move them up a couple of notches. They started the game 11th in the league in the home run department.
Rivera homered his last at bat. He's 1 for 3. One ball, 1 strike to Luis. Kind of showing bunt that time, but taking ball 2, 2-1. Baltimore has scored 4 down at Anaheim. They lead the Angels 4-0 in the 5th now. Angels coming on bad times. Red Sox go in there, play them over the weekend. They got 3 pretty good pitchers, if we mentioned, lined up for them. Outside and a ball 3, strike 1 count to Rivera. Abbott, Blyleven, Finley against Boddicker, Harris, and Hetzel. Foul back and out of play.
I mentioned the last time the Red Sox had 3 home runs was against the Oakland A's at Fenway Park back in April. Greenwell had a couple in that ball game, and Jody Reed had the other.
Inside and high to Rivera, who walks. 1 out walk given to Louis.
We'd like to thank our stats department back in Boston for that information.
They're piling it in, aren't they?
And of course Bob Frateroli for passing that on to us, Ned.
And we also like to thank Jim Samia of the Public Relations Department for getting a lot of stuff in on the notes tonight. There is a strike to Kutcher.
Brent Neckert up again in the Mariner bullpen, 2nd time tonight.
Randy Kutcher is 1 for 2 in this game. Singled in the 2nd, fly to right field in the 5th, and walked in the 7th. And Jackson laboring a little bit now, misses inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fastball, ball 2. Phillies beat Houston a final 10-1. Cubs won today. Pirates kept going. They beat Cincinnati. Somebody got terribly wrought up in that game. We saw part of it on the big scoreboard before the game here and almost got kicked out by an umpire. They don't like the way Jackson looks. Paul comes out to check with his catcher also, Dave Valley. Neckert warming in the bullpen.
With a little chewing out right there after the home run. The Pena to lead off the inning. Looks like he's kind of lost concentration on the mound. Got Quintana to fly out, but then the base on balls to Rivera, and falling behind to Kutcher, the number 9 hitter in the Red Sox lineup.
A bluff at first base and high fly ball to right field by Kutcher. Taken. Briley made the catch. Rivera playing it halfway back. And now they're 2 down. Ellis Burks 0 for 4.
Now it looks like Jeff Reardon is getting up to start to loosen up in the Red Sox bullpen.
Wondering about Clemens may come out to try to start this ninth. I would think he would want to if he realizes, I'm quite sure he does, that he can get his 100th victory tonight. He's nice to be able to finish it.
Oh, sure. He'd get that first complete game of the season. And the way that Reardon's throwing right now with the 2 outs, there's no way he's going to start off the 9th inning.
No. Playing long toss right now. Stretch out. It's a strike to Burks. 1 ball, 1 strike. And a foul. First player in Major League history with 50 extra base hits and 25 stolen bases in each of his first 2 Major League seasons. Ellis Burks, 87 and 88. I just picked that out of the air. I remember that.
Tell you, Ned, you never cease to amaze me with the knowledge you have stored up years past.
That's on the big board here in left field.
Oh, there it is. Oh.
Yeah, I would have amazed me too. You can do too much with statistics in baseball sometimes, however. Every book that's written, hardly any of it has any prose in it anymore. It's all figures. Baseball the beautiful. There's a good jump and a foul by Ellis Burks. That time Rivera got a fine jump on Jackson and had the base stolen, but has to come back.
You know, that's what I kept telling management every time I went up to negotiate a contract, that I thought stats were way overrated in baseball. And again, another good jump by Luis Rivera. But again, the swing by Ellis Burks to foul it off. He'd have had that base stolen easily also.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Red Sox leading 4-1. We're in the 9th. Mariners stay right here for the makeup game with California tomorrow, then a weekend series with the New York Yankees starting Friday night. Burks takes a ball and a 2-2 count. They've got Kirk McCaskill against Brian Holman here tomorrow night. And the Mariners will send Randy Johnson, Eric Hansen, and Matt Young against the Yankees over the weekend. Burks very high to left center. And Griffey with the call and the ball. 1 run on the homer by Pena, and we go to the bottom of the 9th with the Red Sox leading 4-1. All right, we go to the bottom of the 9th inning and last call for the Mariners, and Roger Clemens 3 outs away from his 100th Major League victory and his 5th of this season. He has given up just 3 hits, 1 a home run by Alvin Davis for the only Seattle run. And he'll face the top of the order, Reynolds, Briley, and Davis. He's pitched a fine ball game tonight. He's had
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3 innings. She's just taken the Mariners easily. He has struck out 6 along the way, and he's walked only 1, and continues as of this point to show his mastery over the Seattle Mariners. In his career, 7-3 against them coming in. He faced them only once last year, and that was a 1-0 shutout here in this ballpark.
Leading off for your New Seattle Mariners, the second baseman, number 4, Harold Reynolds.
Harold Reynolds is 0 for 3. He's flied to center, popped to short, and flied to right. Jeff Reardon up and ready in the bullpen if necessary. Mariners have come from behind in 2 of their last 3 wins. The one over Baltimore on Sunday, and last night's job against the Red Sox. But they're down by 3 to Clemens now. 0-1 to Reynolds. Nothing in 2.
We've had 3 very different ball games here at the Kingdome than we had last week at Fenway Park. All of those games were blowouts one way or the other, and 3 games here have been close.
Down low for a ball. And a little bit high to Harold. It's a count of 2-2. Out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes. This lockout makeup stuff has hurt some teams a lot worse than it's hurt the Red Sox. The ones that are made up in the course of the season, and the California Angels are a case in point.
Yeah,
Ball 3.
It's no real short flight to go from L.A. up here to Seattle. About a 2.5-hour flight. And one time we had to go to Detroit, but that's not too bad. That wasn't a bad trip at all for the one day. But they've done it twice already this season.
Twice in this one last week. They had one when the Mariners came home from Boston. Then they have tomorrow before the All-Star break. There's a shot that Quintana gets in fair ground, and Reynolds is out. Playing deep and toward the line a little bit.
Did a good job too, Ned, to get in front of this ball. A lot of times they just kind of reach out and try to stab at it, but Quintana with the good footwork just about gets completely in front of that ball, and it goes over and takes it himself. Looks very comfortable around the bag at first.
There are people down in Winter Haven this spring, including Johnny Pesky, who says this guy's going to be all right at first base. Now, people were a little skeptical as to whether he could do the job and make the moves and get in position and learn the position.
I was, no question about it, and I kept watching and watching, and every game it didn't, no mistake, very steady, and it's continued on right through the season here.
Clemens working to Greg Briley. Strike 1.
We know.
Briley 0 for 3. He's grounded out twice and popped to short. They've held him pretty much at check tonight after he's ripped everybody just about in the previous 5 games between these clubs. Yeah, good fastball that time, and the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Two and 2. 1 out in the 9th Red Sox lead 4-1. Out of play. Riley's hitting .500 against the Red Sox this year.
Just thinking the same thing, Ned. I looked down at the score sheet tonight, and he's 0 for 3 coming into this at bat. It's unbelievable.
I know it. 5 hits in this series. Tap toward the middle, but right there is Rivera, and there are 2 outs. And Clemens 1 out away from his 100. And he'll face the only guy that got anything going against him tonight. Spoiled his shutout bid with a home run, Alvin Davis. Davis homer to right in the 7th. 7 hits for the Red Sox tonight, 3 of them home runs. 3 hits for the Mariners, and 1 home run by Davis. So Clemens reading Pena, pitching to Davis. Strike 1. He is really pitching for it right now. You kind of sense that in the 8th and 9th. He got the side in the 8th in order after struggling a little bit following the homer by Davis in the 7th.
And helped him out. He had a very easy inning in the 8th, and it looked like he was starting to get tired. They helped him out a bit, swinging at some first pitches, got the strikeout to Valley.
1 ball and 1 strike. And strike 2 to Alvin Davis. Clemens back in his rhythm, it seems, right now. Not fiddling around very much, just getting the ball, getting ready, and throwing. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And a line base hit to center field. The Mariners live. Stroked single, very nicely stroked, easily. A nice swing by Davis. And that's the 4th hit off Clemens.
Well, we talk about it every time. Alvin Davis, one of the most underrated players in the game of baseball, and the only reason because he's playing out here on the West Coast in Seattle. This guy gets the job done. Gets the home run in the 7th inning. 2 strikes on him. Will just take the base hit to center field and keep at least a chance alive for his team.
He has 6 hits in the 3 games of this series. And now it's Jeffrey Leonard. High to right field, and this should do it for Clemens. Brunansky collars it, and Roger Clemens has his 100th major league win. A masterful job out there tonight. Hardly ever any doubt. Just a matter of whether his mates would get runs. They did. His teammates around him, and a very big win for the young guy from Katy, Texas. Leonard flied out to right field, and in the 9th inning, no runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left on base as the team goes out to congratulate Clemens. He gets his 5th win of the year. Final score is the Red Sox 4 and the Mariners 1, and our Texaco star of the game is Roger Clemens. His 100th major league win, his 5th of the year. He's 5-2 this season as he went complete game, the first Red Sox complete game of the year. He struck out 6 and walked but 1. The final score, the Red Sox 4, the Mariners 1. Stay tuned for Red Sox Instant Replay.
Now the story of the ball game tonight: 4 runs, 7 hits, no errors for Boston, 1-4-1 for Seattle. Clemens the winner. He's now 5-2 on the year. Eve takes the loss. He is now 0-3. We had 4 home runs in the ball game. Quintana, Rivera, Davis, and Pena all homering as the Red Sox win it by a score of 4-1. Well, we had Clemens against Langston, followed by a couple of Clemens-Stewart battles, and somehow Clemens and Eve just didn't come off sounding right at the ball yard tonight. But it was a 1-0 ball game, if you recall, going into the 7th inning. Clemens winning game number 100 of his career and reaching the 100 win milestone at the age of just 27. Let's check the highlights now of today's game. as those are coming up next. Rubber game of this 3-game series. The Sox and the Seattle Mariners tonight at the Kingdome. And a new face, as I mentioned, Gary Eve going for Seattle. It is his first career appearance against the Sox, and they will jump on him early. Mike Greenwell breaks out of an 0-for-29 slump with men in scoring position as he sends a single to right field. Burks comes in to score, and that will now make it a 1-0 ball game. An early lead for Roger Clemens, the Rocket making a bid for career win number 100. He has some early heat going here as he fans Jeffrey Leonard in the second inning. Gary Eve is proving tough. Here he saws off Ellis Burks in the 5th inning. Not much left of this bat as Burks will be thrown out at first base. Clemens motoring along. We're in the 5th. Edgar Martinez at first base with 1 out, and Scott Bradley at the plate.
Martinez again goes strike 3, throw to second base. He's out.
He's out. 1-0 Sox after 5. It stays that way until the 7th.
Drills it to left field. Well hit. And out of here for a home run. 2-0 Red Sox. Homer number 1 for Carlos Quintana. 1 out, 1 in, and Rivera up. He goes deep. That's pretty far, and that is gone. Woo.
Yeah, and 3-0 Sox. Back come the Mariners. Bottom of the 7th, though. Alvin Davis will take care of the shutout here as he will send this Roger Clemens pitch into the right field seats at the Kingdome. That makes it a 3-1 ball game. Davis, always tough on the Red Sox. Clemens gets through the 7th. Now he goes into the 8th inning. Dave Valley at the plate. Strike 3 called. That's strikeout number 6 on the night for Clemens. Meanwhile, the Red Sox home run parade continues into the 9th inning.
There goes another one. Well back, and see you later.
See you later. 4-1 in favor of the Red Sox. Clemens now will come out of the 9th inning. Leonard lifting it high in the air. Back out to right field. Tom Brunansky camps under it. Brunansky makes the catch, and that's the ball game. And the final score is 4-1. And we'll be back with more here on Red Sox Instant Replay right here on your New England Sports Network. And so the road trip is now half over for the Red Sox. 3-3 so far. 6 down, 6 to go. 2 cities down, 2 cities to go. Sox are on their way to Anaheim after the ball game tonight. Off tomorrow. Open a 3-game weekend series against the Angels at the Big A on Friday night. Let's go back now to the Kingdome. Get some final comments from Ned and Jerry.
Okay, thank you, Bob. And the Red Sox do indeed take 2 out of 3. And have a 3 out of 6 for the first couple of series. But the main thing tonight was Roger Clemens. He was in charge. He got the home runs from the lower part of the order and won number 100.
You know, anytime you have Clemens going against Seattle, who's pitched very well against, and especially here at the Kingdome, you have to feel pretty good about your chances. But I got a little scared early in this game. It looked like they were going to get Gary Eve in the first inning. They let him off the hook, and he settled down and quietly pitched himself a great ball game till a home run started to come in. Pena, Quintana, and Rivera. I mean, there's going to be some noise on the plane tonight as those guys are going to be talking about how far they hit him. But it's nice to see the Red Sox get some home runs and get Clemens a couple extra runs late in the game to work with, because he was starting to get tired in the 7th inning, but he had the benefit of a few runs and a couple of easy innings, and he just pitched a great ball game tonight. Not one of his most overpowering games, I would say, but certainly consistent.
Good enough to beat the Mariners and get his 100th, to be the second youngest ever to reach 100 at that age. Joe Wood of the Boston Red Sox was the other one, and there'll be a few more for Roger Clemens along the way. They play over the weekend at Anaheim. Our next shot at you and you at us will be from Kansas City next week from Royal Stadium. Till then, see you later, and back to you, Bob.
Okay, thank you. Ned might mention, but Clemens is the 8th Red Sox pitcher to win 100 games, second youngest, as you mentioned, at the age of 27. Clemens now 94 wins to go to become the Red Sox all-time winner. Also, second time this year the Sox have hit 3 home runs in the ball game. Every time was back in April against Oakland. And that home run for Quintana tonight, the first of his Major League career. We'll be back and check the rest of tonight's Major League scoreboard when we continue right here on your New England Sports Network. Final score again at the Kingdome tonight, 4-1 for the Red Sox over the Seattle Mariners. Let's check out the rest of tonight's Major League scoreboard, starting in the American League and starting at County Stadium in Milwaukee. That was an afternoon game. Tigers win one by a score of 2-1. Petrie, the winner, as you can see. Henneman picking up his 7th save. Whitaker, his 3rd home run. Mosby, his 3rd home run of the year for Detroit. Weird game at Oakland. It's weird because not weird because they win the way they did it. Ricky Henderson drew a bases-loaded walk in the bottom of the 11th. The A's win again. They are now 21-6 on the year. Chicago, Toronto. That's 4-3 for Toronto. Lions and Calderon had home runs in that ball game. The Twins had won 6 straight. Not so tonight. Webster had a home run for Cleveland. Herbeck had one for Minnesota. At Texas tonight, Rangers bopped Kansas City pretty good by a score of 9-3. Ruben Sierra, Pete Incaviglia with home runs in that ball game. Charlie Huff winning his 3rd game of the year. Storm Davis taking the loss. At California tonight, it's 4-0 Baltimore over the Angels in the 6th inning of play. Langston on the mound for California in that one. This afternoon, it rained in Chicago, rained hard enough to wipe out the ball game in the bottom of the 5th, but they played enough to make it an official ball game. Sandberg and Ramos homered. Cubs win it by a score of 5-0. At Pittsburgh tonight, the Pirates continue to roll. They beat the Red Hot Reds by a score of 6-2. In New York tonight, Bobby Thompson, Kevin Bass, and Kevin Elster all had home runs in that game. San Francisco, the winner, 4-2. At Montreal tonight, Cal Daniels homering. Montreal winning the ball game 5-3. Houston 10-1. The Phillies were winner. Charlie Hayes, his 1st home run of the season in that ball game. Mike Scott taking the loss. He is 1-3 and really struggling. They had a rain delay in St. Louis, but they're finished now. Mike Pagliarulo having a home run, his 1st of the year. 11-5, Cardinals over the San Diego Padres. Paw Sox won tonight. They beat Toledo by a score of 7-3. We'll have the Paw Sox for you here on Nesson tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. And the Bruins are winners. They are marching on now to the Stanley Cup Finals. They defeated the Washington Capitals 3-2. They win the best of 7 series in 4. They got out the Bruins and they swept the Washington Capitals. And that's going to do it for this edition of Red Sox Instant Replay. Once again, our final score tonight, the Sox win it over the Mariners 4-1 in the Kingdome. And the next Red Sox action coming up here next Wednesday when the Sox will take on the Kansas City Royals from Royal Stadium in Kansas City. Game time 8:30 with the digest all set to roll 8 o'clock. We'll see you then. Been an exclusive presentation of Nesson, your ticket to Boston Red Sox baseball.